Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching from. How are you today? Hope you're all doing well. If this is your first time seeing me, I'm Cecilia Mbullah, and I'm broadcasting live from London, England. How are you today? How are you today? Yeah. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Let me check if my sounds are working. Let's check if everything is working. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching from. How are you today? Hope you're all doing well. If today is your first time seeing me, I'm Cecilia Mbullah, and we are streaming live today from London, England. How are you today? Good morning. If you're joining us for the first time, let us know where you're joining from and just say hi. Just say hi. And please don't forget to hit the like button. Hit the like button and say hi. Just hello. That is okay. Hello. Good morning. How are you today? Let me check if my sounds are working. Today we have got Fergus will be joining us today. What is happening now? Hello, hello, hello. Let's check some. Something is gone wrong with my Wi-Fi. Which what's happening? Hello, hello, hello. How are you today? Hope you're doing well. This has been blocked. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon. Hello, Fergus. Can you hear me, Fergus? No? What happened? Can you hear me, Fergus? Yes? No? What's going on here today? Can you hear me? Welcome to Remember. Okay, so what is happening here today? Can you hear me, Fergus? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? No? Can you hear me? Fergus, can you hear me? Yes? Fergus can. No, no, not to die. Come on. Fergus, can you hear me? No? Okay, then. Not today. Cecilia, you're beautiful. I cannot hear him speaking. But Sharon, can you hear me? Sharon, can you hear me? Sharon, if you can hear me, say hi, please. Good morning, Sharon. Sharon, can you hear me? If you can hear me, say hi.
Join by day, Joe Rogan podcast by night, all day. Gentlemen, here we
go. Okay, then I'm going to introduce Fergus. Fergus can join. Okay, you can hear me, but not Fergus. Please bear with me 1 minute. Let me just reach out to him. You can hear him because he says he can't hear me.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jack Kempfield, and I'm excited to let you know.
I want to see if I can hear him. Hello, hello, hello. Because we can't hear you. Not, no. Yeah, we can't hear you. Turn your mic on. We can't hear you. Yeah, other thing. Live chat message. What do I need to do? Because forgot you have to.
Ah!
Ah,
Ah! Ah! No,
OMG! What happened?
I don't
Good
know.
morning. Ah,
Afternoon. Here I am, finally. Sorry,
I
everybody.
know. Finally, how are you, Fergus? Good morning. No, good
Oh,
afternoon.
I'm okay now. Oh, my goodness me. Okay, apologies, everyone, for my sound not working. It is working now for some reason, and it wasn't before for some other reason. No clue.
Oh, good to have you, Fergus. I was like, what is happening? But it's okay now. We are fine. We can crack on.
We have sound.
And
We
good
have sound.
morning. Yes, we've got Sharon here
Oh,
today. Sharon James is here. Um,
okay.
yes, we've got Sharon James. We've got Fun Fact Factory.
Okay.
Sharon and yeah, I think we've got Sharon and Fun.
Good afternoon, Sharon. Yeah, I can see
Yeah,
the writing flushed
Sharon.
on my
Yes,
screen.
Sharon is watching from Australia.
Wow. Hello there. Good day. Many years ago, I made a long distance television aerial for somebody who worked in a company just round the corner from where I lived at the time. And in return, he gave me lots of huge boxes. I mean, they're 8 foot long, and they were for repeaters. It was a place called Submarine Telecoms or something. And these boxes had come from Australia, and they were beautiful wood, and they were exactly the right size to be floorboards. So I floorboarded my entire loft with these boxes. And I'd made this long distance television area, and they didn't want the boxes anymore. Thank you, I took them home. And they'd come from Australia, and people had written things like "Good day, mate" on the sides of the boxes in Australia. They'd actually written "Good day, mate" on the side of the box, not knowing where they were going around the world, which I thought was rather sweet, rather special.
Wow, that is interesting.
Mm.
Yes, interesting. Yes, good to have Fergus on the show today. Son of Soweto is not here. Sam is not here. Um, I'm sure they will join us at some point.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think we have to crack on. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching from. Or Sharon
that's
is
true.
almost bedtime. Eh?
That's true. No, she's 12 hours out. So it's quarter to 1 in the morning for her then.
Yeah, it's quarter to 1 in the morning. But I told everyone, and I'm sure Sharon, she says hello, Fergus. So I told everyone that Fergus will be here today, guys. So let's today on today's show we are going to be talking about how to make a speech powerful, whatever the subject. And with us today we've got Fergus. Fergus is like he's a special guest. Fergus should be a professor. He is our professor. Fergus here is an actor and a vocal coach. Fergus has been acting since 1962 in the UK. He is known for the Wars of the Roses in 1962 and 1965. The Adventures of the Musketeers in 1967. Fergus acted in that film as well. And A Boy 10 Feet Tall. And Fergus acted in that film as well. That was in 1963. And Fergus has worked with the likes of Tony Robbins. So, you know what? Fergus has been in this business for a very long time. And Fergus is also the co-founder of Meridian Speakers. And Meridian Speakers is a renowned public speaking club in the UK, in London, and it's part of Toastmasters International. And you know what? It's a privilege to have Fergus here and today. And today, Fergus will be talking to us about how to make a powerful speech, no matter the subject. And I'd like Fergus to start by telling us um, how to beat the fear of public speaking, because that is the first one everyone talks about. So if you have got questions for Fergus, please do ask them. Fergus has been an actor since 1962, so you can ask Fergus questions on acting, best schools in the UK for acting. You can ask Fergus questions on public speaking. He is here today, so please channel all your questions to Fergus and he's going to answer them. We don't know when we're going to have him next, so please, he's here today. Please help me welcome the very esteemed Fergus McClelland. Welcome, Fergus. Always
Well,
a pleasure to have you on the show.
I've just got to stop my head from swelling too much now after listening to all of that. And I thought, well, this is true. Yes, that was true. Yes. Oh, yes, that's me. What I was told many years ago, like, being humble is very powerful. And I've recently trained somebody for lots and lots of money per hour. I mean, a lot. However, I prepared for each hour for a week to make sure I did the right training for this man. And I said, he looks like, I'm not giving anything away. He looks like a great big Viking with a ginger beard. Right? He's huge. He's about 6'2", 6'3". And I said, okay, so you've got to be gentle with your voice. You are so big and so powerful. Don't be powerful in your voice. And many years ago, there was a man I used to do a lot of electronics with when I was designing the television areas and radio areas and things like that. And he said, if you show off about yourself, no one else is going to say anything good about you. And he was an electronics genius. I wasn't. I did what's called, right, you've got passive and active electronics. Active is actually with the wires that you blow your arm off. And I used to do that as well. Not blow my arm off, but that's when you've got electricity going through it. Passive is amazing. It's tiny little bits of metal, weeny, weeny things like aerials. So I love the passive. And he loved the active. He said, but he was always, oh no, I'm not clever. He was actually, he was very, very clever. But he never said, I'm clever, which means everybody else said he was. He said, Fergus, if you show off about yourself, no one else will. So stop showing off about yourself. But yeah, but I like to. Yeah, actually, my first film, actually, I know you've got it as A Boy 10 Feet Tall. That's the American title of it. But it was called Sammy Going South in England.
Oh.
Okay. And it was the Royal Film Performance of 1963. And I was Sammy. And I was sent for voice training. Now, this is relevant. I promise you, everybody, don't worry. It is relevant. I was sent for voice training to a woman called Cicely Berry, who then became Dame Cicely Berry. And I was in the Royal Shakespeare Company before she was even there as a coach. Because in those days, if you watch the old films from the 1950s and early 1960s, everybody had to speak like this. And I was on the red carpet. I had Princess Alexandra, she's now Princess Michael of Kent, and Princess Margaret and the Queen Mother all came to shake my hand. And I had to call them your Royal Highness the first time, and then Ma'am for every other reply. And I was working with Edward G. Robinson, who was Wonderful man, really lovely man. And Harry H. Corbett, people may have heard of, who used to do Steptoe and Son. And he was actually a very good actor. And I got on with him, so I called him H. And every year he would send me LPs of the latest programs they'd done. So that was nice. So, yes, that was my background, but it's not what I am now, not at all. I'm a, suppose, voice consultant, speech and presentation consultant. Now, back to the first question, getting rid of the fear. Okay, you've got 1,000 people in front of you. 1,000. Hello, Tony. It's me talking. Don't worry. Relax, man. And
Okay,
hello,
you're
Alan.
intrigued. Tony says, I'm intrigued what's going on. Tony, we are here having a lecture from our very own esteemed Fergus McClelland on how to make a powerful speech, and how to make a speech powerful, whatever the subject. So we are here today. We are talking on public speaking, rules of public speaking, how to make. Yeah, I'm intrigued. What? Yeah, it's okay. We got it, Tony. It's okay. So today's topic is how to make a speech powerful, whatever the subject. So that is today's topic. So if you have got questions on public speaking, Fergus is your man. You can ask him any question on public speaking. So, and Fergus is going to start by telling us how to beat the fear of public speaking, because that is the question I get all the time.
Hmm.
So, over to you, Fergus.
Okay, thanks, Cecilia. Right. So I developed this when I was working for a group called Speakers Bank, which is where I met my. No, it was before then. No, forget that. I've got a Nigerian sister. Sister by we connect to each other. We're not physically brother and sister, but we are. We call each other brother and sister. It's lovely. And I met her when I was working for a advanced public speakers group. We called ourselves the Magpies. This was many years ago. And she's got this incredible voice. Okay. Orelu Ogumbai. And her voice is very good. And the first time I met her, I said, "Your voice is incredible." She said, "No, it isn't." I said, "Yes, it really is. It is. It is." And it was only a few years after that that she saw herself on Nigerian television. She just made a film, by the way, called Black Nanny, White Child, and she's got an award for it. Which is very nice. And so I'm very proud of that. And her voice is incredible. But she didn't know it was. It took her a year or two of knowing me before she realized her voice is really, really good. Everybody's voice is good. I was training somebody, and this is related to the fear of public speaking. Don't worry, I'm not going off on a tangent. Might sound like it, but I'm not. This woman was Italian, and she said, "How do I get rid of my accent?" Don't. It's part of your being. Do not get rid of your accent. It's part of your ethos. It's part of what makes you feel good about yourself. Hearing your own voice. It's lovely. Right. Okay. Go back to number one, your question, which I'm going all over the place. Okay. Let's say you're on television with 4 million viewers live. Okay. And believe me, I've done that lots of times, a long time ago, but I have done it. Or you're on the radio with 500,000 listeners. Okay. How many people are you speaking to realistically? Do you know how many? One. You're only ever speaking to one person. So this is to get rid of the fear, plus also rule number one of public speaking. Okay. I'm speaking to you now, Cecilia. I'm also speaking to Tony, and I'm speaking to Sharon and Alan. Okay. I'm speaking to you all individually, aren't I? Yes. See what I mean? I'm speaking to you. I'm not saying, for example, if I said, "Good afternoon, everybody," no one would feel I was speaking to them. You're speaking to one person. And okay, I'll prove this. I'll prove this. This is one of the best things about making a speech. Would you, not you all, you notice, I don't say you all, would you like to learn some of the ways to make your speech better? Would you like to know the ways to really fly when you do a speech? Would you like to realize that making a speech can make you money? Now, everybody, I'm doing that deliberately. Everybody, no, you know that you've answered those three questions. It was yes, yes, and yes. You can't say no to those. Would you like to learn? Would you like to know? Can I give you? Right? It's yes, yes, yes. So one of the best rules in doing a speech is to start with three yeses, because there was an American speaker who'd been on the radio in America for God knows how many years, lots and lots of years, and they said to him, "To what do you ascribe your success?" And he said, "I only ever spoke to one person." My daughter's now 17, and when she was a baby, 16 and a half years ago, I would get her out of bed because my ex-wife did a lot of sleeping, and I was always up at 6 or 7 in the morning at least. And I would get my daughter out of bed because she'd be going, so I'd lift her out of bed and I'd take her downstairs and I'd turn on the radio and I'd listen to man, most people won't have heard of him now, called Terry Wogan. And I felt like he was talking directly to me because he was only speaking ever to one person. And that is what's true for everyone. When you make a speech, see, I did it again, didn't I? I got it wrong. To all of us, to us people, we're only ever speaking to one person because that is the truth. There's a person in front of you listening to you. Not 1,000, not 1,000,000, not 10 million. It's one person. Each one on the audience is one person. Hang on, just look forward.
Yeah, you got a question from Tony. Please.
Okay, brilliant. I messed up once and it got me a new client. Because one thing we must never do is apologize to the audience. Okay? There's one special circumstance where you can apologize to an audience. You can say, "I'm doing this for the first time, so if I get it wrong, please forgive me and put up with me." You, not all of you, just you, one, yeah, individual. So you can say that to an audience because then they'll go, "Oh, that's sweet. Okay, well, I'll put up with that person." Now, where does the fear come from? Now, I invented a thing which I've used all over Europe and even in Iran. Okay, back in the days of the Ice Age, there were mammoths, great big things, the woolly mammoth, okay, and humans wanted to attack them and kill them and eat them because everybody ate meat in those days. Okay, we weren't growing any plants. We were finding the odd plant, the odd flower, the odd rose, the odd apple. Okay, good. Eat the odd apple. But mostly we had to live on eating meat. And the mammoth, its shoulder, right, the mammoth's shoulder, this is the smallest of the mammoths, was 9 feet high. 9 feet is, I'm only 5'10", okay, but that's nearly 3 feet higher than me. So you've got a family group. Guess what? They didn't have languages back then. They had noises. Now, a family group within the family. Okay. But we didn't have international languages. We didn't have English. We didn't have Russian, German, Swahili, all the others. No, we didn't have Kikuyu. We didn't have the languages. So you want someone from another family, okay? You want the men from that family and the children and the women to come and hunt one mammoth with you. You kill that mammoth, you all eat over the winter, okay? You don't kill the mammoth, you starve. Now you've got to go from your family group. This is where the fear comes from, I'm convinced. You've got to go from your family group to another family group. And you've got to make noises to convince them to work with you. Can you imagine that? Cecilia, Tony, all of you. You've got to go and make the right noises to the total strangers the other side of the valley. If they don't like you, they can kill you, ignore you, or laugh at you. So it's kill, ignore, laugh, or think, ooh, he or she is very strong. So you go over there, you go, you make strong noises, okay, and you indicate with your fingers what you want them to do. You do sign language, sort of, and they go, and they talk to each other in their own family language, and they decide to go with you to hunt a mammoth. Result, you all get to eat that winter. But it's dangerous. That is where the danger comes from. Let me have a read, Sharon. Apology. No, the apology. Okay, I'll tell you about the apology story. Okay. I was doing a presentation for the Professional Speaking Association years ago. One thing you're not, no, two things you're not supposed to do in an audience, okay? One is apologize, and the other one is turn your back on the audience. So I was showing a PowerPoint presentation and my laptop crashed. So I had to turn around and restart it. And so I turned around, I had the microphone on, obviously, on my head, said, I'm sorry, everybody, I've turned my back on you to restart the laptop. But as you know, you're never supposed to turn your back on the audience and you're never supposed to apologize to the audience. So I apologize for doing that. And I got a client. He said, I couldn't believe you were just so relaxed that I had to book you as a trainer. And so I made quite a bit of money out of training this man. He said, I couldn't believe you were so relaxed. You have to be relaxed. You have to let it go. Okay. You're only there for you. You're only there for one person in front of you. You're only there to share to that one person. Even if there are 10 million one persons, it's one person over and over again. Yeah. That's the important thing. Once you realize that, and you think, my body language has got to be, it doesn't have to be sort of super manly. No, not like that. It has to fit with what I'm saying. And oh, yeah, here's another one. Okay, if you're on a stage, center stage is very good, a bit back from the front, because otherwise it's too intrusive. If you stand right at the front of the center and you go, but a bit back from there. And okay, here's a question for you all.
When it comes, Fergus, when it comes to Sharon's question, I don't know if I don't know if she understood what you said earlier on, or if I don't know, because she says
no,
does an
yeah.
apology, yeah, does an
Apology,
apology mean you're,
yes, it means
yeah, because,
you're not strong. That's the problem
okay,
with
because it says,
apologizing.
are you watching, listening, and understand, keep that one person watching. So when you talk of talking to one person, it's the language, isn't it? It's about using like you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not about talking to one particular person. I think that is, it's not about you talking and looking at one particular person. You're talking to everyone, but in your head you use you just use you don't use us, you don't say everybody, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, so you
exactly.
just use you. Yeah, it's not like
Because it
you're
is,
speaking to just one person, but
because you are.
it's
You
no, you're
are
speaking
speak
to
even
one person,
yeah,
but like
even it's 10 million one persons, there's still one person.
person.
Yeah. There's a thing I
Yeah.
call the serpent. Okay. I like that because I'm proud of it because I invented it. No, the serpent. It's the audience's sound. Okay. I recorded a cocktail party I was at for my ex-brother-in-law, and you could hear all the people talking at the same time. It literally went like that. I thought, what's going on? And I did a recording of it. I thought, that's mystical. It's a rhythm, a lovely rhythm. No, what it is, one person is speaking loudly. When that one person speaks loudly, somebody close to them speaks loudly as well. When they shut up, it all gets quieter. So it's I just met Johnny, and whoa, and everybody, it gets louder and quieter, louder and quieter. And if you've got an audience in front of you and you're on stage, you are needing to control the serpent. And you can, in the days of Shakespeare, I've studied Shakespeare a lot because I was in the Royal Shakespeare Company for 2 years, which did help me to study Shakespeare a bit. What they used to have, they called it a claque. CLAQUE, a claque. I don't know if anyone's ever seen a football rattle. It's a wooden thing you hold and you swing it round and round and it goes, makes a noise. And it's called a claque. Back in those days, you would put people in somebody else's theatre, in their audience. You put your friends in their audience to laugh or boo at all the wrong times. And it would destroy the performance. You'd seed people, let's say 6 or 8 people in the audience of another play. And it would really destroy the atmosphere of the audience. That audience, right, the audience, I call the serpent. If you're on the stage and you control the serpent, it's all those individual people who want to listen to you. It's wonderful. It's a bit scary, but if you're not confident, you will shatter, basically. Imagine you're an iceberg. You're all icebergs on stage. And yes, it is. You've got to do it with confidence, but you are an iceberg. And if you've got any self-doubt, you will break. You will shatter into lots of little bits of glass or, ice, really. Yeah, it's like the flaw in a diamond. When somebody's cutting a diamond with their special little, if there's a flaw in there and they don't see it, when they hit that hammer, it'll shatter and they've got a load of tiny bits of rubbish. Lots of, the great biggest diamond in the world ever. If it's suddenly broken into tiny pieces, it's hardly worth anything. And you've got to nurse the audience. You've got to play with the audience. You've got to love sharing your story, whatever your story is. Love sharing your story, whatever the story. If you don't love your story, if you don't know your story backwards, do not get up there because it's wrong. Here's a thought. Let's say you're in front of, let's make it small. Oh, yes, King Charles, by the way. He loves to do great big audiences, he always said, but he hates doing an audience of 20 or 30 people. Because when it's an audience of 20 or 30 people, they might ask him questions. When it's an audience of 1,000 people, well, it's a bit hard for them to ask him anything. And that's what he said years ago. I don't know what he says now, but that's what he used to say. Now, I'll tell you one of the biggest, now I'm going to tell you 2 of the best secrets that I've learned over the years. And I've sent you the link. It's not about agreeing with the politics, okay? Don't get involved in the politics. Hang on, let me just. Hello, my sweetheart, Cecilia. Oh, hello, Sam. Here he is again.
Hello, Sam.
Flirting,
How are you? Good to have you,
away.
Sam. Fergus is here. What kept you so long, Sam?
Okay. Now, one thing I learned. Sorry, Sam, you missed the mammoth story. I'm afraid you'll have to learn it from other people. I'm not going to tell it again because everybody else will get too bored. Right. Okay. So, the rule of 3, okay, which I talked about before. In the beginning was the Word, and a word was with God, and a word was God. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I just sent you, and I don't know if other people here have seen it. I sent Cecilia. People. See, you feel lost now. He's talking to people. He's not talking. Yes, Sam. Okay, and Tony, and Sharon. I'm actually speaking to you individually. I sent Cecilia a link to a speech done by a man we've all heard of called Nigel Farage. It's not about the politics. It's about the way he did it. he used Shakespearean English style. It was very, very clever. And as I said, I really don't care about politics. What I vote for, what you vote for, it's not important. Don't let that get in the way. The speech he made about 4 days ago, he goes 1 and 2 and 3, and he does it over and over again. And it's
Yeah.
it's in Shakespeare. Okay, let me think. Once more unto the breach, dear friends. Once more, or close the wall up with our English dead. See, it's
Yeah, and there was a
good.
part where he said, "Are you winners?" The crowd went, "Yeah," and he said, are you all gonna help us?" And they went, "Yeah."
Yeah, yeah,
Are
yeah,
we
yeah,
going to
yeah,
succeed? Yeah, towards the end. So he used the power of three a lot.
yeah. And there's the bit. It's like at the end of once more unto breach, dear friends. It's at the very end. Summon up your whatever. Like greyhounds in the slips. Cry God for Harry, England, and St George. 1, 2, 3, and that's what he was. I just watched it. That's oh my God! I've got to give this to Cecilia. It was classic Shakespeare.
Yeah, it was. I listened to the whole speech. It was very
Yeah,
captivating because he used the
yeah,
power of three a lot.
yeah,
And yes, a lot of he used a lot of rhetorical devices.
yeah. He's very clever.
A, very, very clever. He used a lot. He used all of them. Like every time I was like, wow. Yeah, he
Yeah,
just wowed me. Yes, throughout the speech, he used metaphors, everything, alliterations. He used the power of three
yeah.
a lot. You know, so it was like one, two, and then three. It
I
was. It
see
was.
you.
It was.
It was like I see you stand like greyhounds in the slips. Summon up the blood. Disguise fair nature with hard favoured rage. Oh my God, yeah. It was very, very clever. And Boris Johnson, no, not compared with that. That was brilliant. And that's why
The way
I
it was a yes, Sharon. The way he delivered the speech, Nigel, and the way Nigel Farage delivered the speech was a yes. Everything about it, from the beginning to the end, because he kept me watching. He kept using, the language was beautiful
yeah. And it doesn't
and
matter about the
captivating
politics.
too.
Yeah. Because
No,
we're
no,
not
no,
talking
not
about the
about.
politics.
No, 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 not about the politics. It was about the way he used the power of three,
Yeah.
and not only the power of three, the well
Yeah.
crafted speech. It was a
Yeah.
crafted speech.
And
you
just by
know so
watching
how do
it.
you get that kind of a speech, Fergus? Because that is our topic for today. Yes,
Yeah.
how do you make a speech powerful? It was powerful. I've watched the speech. I watched it twice. Very powerful. So how do you make that kind of powerful speech?
Uh blonde black woman. Yes, she is a blonde black woman. Yes, she is. Okay. She's gorgeous. You've noticed. Oh my God, you've noticed the colour of
Yeah.
Cecilia's hair. Well done. 8 more. 8 more.
Mhm.
Be more. Be more.
It's
That's what you do.
white. It's not the hair is it's white. It's not blonde.
Is it?
Mhm.
It looks yellow. Doesn't look white at all. It looks yellow. Oh, it's nice anyway. Okay.
Mhm.
Oh, she's a sellout. No, sellout. That sounds like it's at the end of sale. No. Oh, sellout in the other way. Yeah, everybody. Yeah. Well, the reason I met Cecilia, okay, Cecilia, don't go breaking my heart. I met Cecilia at a public speaking event at Meridian Speakers, which she was talking about, which I was one of the founders of, along with Orelu Ogunbai, my Nigerian sister. Founded it, I think, 20 years ago, before I even had a daughter. Anyway, founded there, and I met Cecilia, and within, as Cecilia said kindly last time I was on the show, within 5 or 10 minutes of talking to her at the end of her doing a speech, this is probably the most important thing you can learn as a speaker. Listen. listen and learn from other people, because other people will know things you don't. If you think, right, let's say you've got well, that's the topic, Sam. It's me. I'm the topic.
Yes, Sam, the topic for today is how to make a speech powerful, whatever the subject. That is the topic for today. How to make a speech powerful.
You turned up a bit late, Sam. Goodness me, we've been going for 20 minutes at least. Never mind, you'll catch up. Don't worry, you will catch up. Calm down, calm down. You will catch up. So, one of I tried saying this. I was on Talk TV a few days ago. I was also on Sun, the Sun newspaper. They both have a channel which is now on the internet. It's not actually on mainstream TV. And I did the two, one after the other. I did the Sun first, and then I did the Talk company afterwards, with about 5 minutes in between the two. And it's lovely. Working with television stations is great fun if you are happy about what you're doing. And a friend of mine a lot of years ago, who's quite shy, said, "Oh, I'm sure I'm more afraid than you are today, Fergus." I said, "Well, I'm sure you are, because I'm not at all." It's doing it. It's doing it and knowing what you're talking about, believing in what you're talking about, and using it. The thing is, Cecilia, well, the first time I met her, she was rocking all over the stage. I tell you, she was one like this, right, like this all the time. So, hello, everybody, like this, okay. And at the end, I said, "Cecilia, stop doing that. Plant your feet, use them. They're there for a reason. If you've got to walk somewhere on stage, have a reason to walk there. Don't just wander." Michael McIntyre, the comedian, he just walks backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards all the time. And it's become his trademark to wander, and you get dizzy watching him wandering. Whereas Mickey Flanagan, he walked from one end of the stage to the other. He said, "Well, that's the length of my coffee table. That's it." He's made a joke using the whole stage to be his coffee table in his living room. And that works, because you've got to have a reason for where you are on the stage. Yeah. So here's a question then for everybody. Everybody, you see, I'm doing it myself. What inspired me to become a professional speech teacher? Yes, I'll tell you that. That's a good question. A very good question. Thank you, Tony. I'd been to Tony Robbins as a delegate twice, and there was a group called the Yes Group in London, and they used to be allowed to put their leaflets on the chairs. And I thought, oh, this is a follow-on to Tony Robbins. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, well, I might as well go along. I was then worked as crew for Tony Robbins for quite a few years, on and off. I did 5 times, I think, I was crew for Tony Robbins. And you meet some of the very best trainers, very well trained trainers. And you get, as a member of crew, you get special training. The delegates don't get. It's really, really advanced training. So I joined this group called the Yes Group. And I used to go there each month. And one month, a woman came up to me and said, "Fergus, could you stop people coming downstairs, please?" She spoke terribly, terribly like this. She was very terribly like this. She was a doctor. She'd been a brain surgeon, a psychologist, a GP, general practitioner. She had so many letters after her name, you couldn't put them on a card, business card, because there were too many of them. So there was a boss, a chairwoman of the group at the time, who was really not good. And this woman, I won't do names, it's easier not to do names, said, "Fergus, you've got to join the committee with me." And there was a man who I will say his name, Martin Booth, who was a really, really nice man, who wrote books on how to dance. And he was a dancer for Madonna. And he was in Cats. And I went on a few days of training with him. And he died at the age of 48. But he was wonderful. He said, "Fergus, you've got to join the committee. You've got to, because it's falling apart." So I joined the committee. And then one day I had to introduce all of the members of the committee. What was this? Walking back and forward, shooting ducks. Okay, well, I don't know. I don't know what you're saying, Sharon. I don't know. I can't quite understand what you're saying, but I'm sure I'm. Oh, do you know Alan Pease? Alan Pease is very famous in Australia. He's a friend of mine. I met him, first time I met him, we were working in Iran. And Alan is a really good speaker. And he does the differences between men and women brilliantly, the brain, human brain. And he used me as a fall guy on stage quite a bit. Anyway, ignoring that, it's my connection to Australia. It's the boxes that say good day, mate, and also Alan Pease. And my mother retired to Australia and adored it. She was there for, I don't know, 18 years. She lived in Melbourne, Smelly Mally, and then she moved to various other parts. And my uncle moved to Australia as I was being born in 1950. So I never actually got to meet him, but we used to swap letters with each other. Anyway, apart from that slight digression, you've got to think, one, everybody should look up. It's easy to find the Nigel Farage speech from Birmingham, wasn't it? I think about 4 days ago, and watch the rules of speech that he uses. Boris Johnson would like to be that good, but Boris, hello, I'm Churchill reborn. I'll come back with Churchill Johnson, and it doesn't work. But it's Farage, I'm Nigel Farage, but it works because he uses all the rules of speaking. You've got to. Notice I said it 3 times. Got. Tony, you're from Sudan. That's a question
How
for you.
did this profession inspire you? Like, first he's asked Tony's first question is, what inspired you to become such a professional speech teacher?
Okay, I'm nearly there. So one week we had a new board, okay, and I was on the board, and there were 10 of us, and we all had our special red T-shirts to show that we weren't the crew for the S group, we were the board. So they all had blue shirts, and we had red shirts. So they said, Fergus, you've got to get up and introduce the board because I knew all the rules and regulations and details. So I got up and I did that. And I said, the reason, I don't know how I got it in my head. I said, the reason we wear red is why the British Army used to wear red, because then you won't see the blood of fresh shot. And the audience roared with laughter. I said, oh, I've got them. Well, this is fun. And my brother was on the board at the time. I said, he's an expert in program and project management. Does anybody here understand what that means? And one woman said, I do. And there were about 600 in the audience. I said, well, there you are. You see, my brother's got one person who understands what he does for a living. I don't. I do now because I've had to study it. So after I'd done this presentation, we were calling in a man to do our being on stage, introducing all the acts each month. And he said, Fergus, I don't know why you're not doing it. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, you're good enough. You can get up. You can do it every month easily. I said, oh, yeah, probably could actually. Oh. And then I would arrange, along with Martin Booth, the choreographer and dancer, I would arrange one event each year with members of the audience coming on stage to do a presentation. So we'd have to see what they were like, get them to do, if you like, what would you call it? A practice run in front of us to see if they were good enough to get on stage. And so we'd arrange a members' night each year. And the first time I did it, I was obviously hosting. I had 10 people on stage for 10 minutes each. My goodness me, the sweat was pouring down my back inside my jacket, I tell you. And it worked. And so that's when we started doing members' nights. And I thought, oh, I'm quite liking this public speaking thing. Oh, and so that's what got me developed into becoming a professional speaker. And it was because of the Yes Group, I went to also because of Tony Robbins. Yes, I met this really nice bunch of people there. And one of them was doing their first ever Toastmaster speech as Toastmaster. And they said, can you all come along? I'm a bit nervous. Can you come along? I was the only one of the group that I'd met who came along. And it was a group called Speakers Bank. And so I talked about the rule of three, because I knew it well from in the Royal Shakespeare Company, of course. And somebody said, okay, you must be an advanced Toastmaster. I said, I don't even know what Toastmasters is. It sounds like people who are making toast. That was all I knew. And there was a woman I'd seen on stage at the Yes Group once. And she was a Toastmaster. She wasn't at that group of Toastmasters, but then I went to an advanced Toastmasters group to see if I could be signed up as a Toastmaster, which of course I was straight away because of my history. And I met the woman there again. So this all came out of Tony Robbins. I ended up married to her. I'm now divorced from her for many years. I've got a beautiful 17-year-old daughter. And it all comes out of the very first time I went to a Tony Robbins event 22, 23 years ago. My life changed massively because my business partner I worked with at the time in electronics suddenly died. I was away on holiday in Ireland with my American girlfriend at the time. And I got a phone call from the man's sister, said, can you go round and see him? I think he's ill. And I went round. He was very ill, had to get an ambulance, taken to hospital. 3 days later, he was dead of a horrible aneurysm. If I hadn't done Tony Robbins so much, I had suddenly, my electronics business was gone. I had nothing. I didn't know I could speak. I didn't know I was a speaker. I had no clue, let alone becoming a speaking trainer. But because I'd already done Tony, literally, I had the, would you call it the wherewithal, the guts, the something or other to keep going. And I ended up going to the S Group, meeting a woman, marrying her, moving to Yorkshire, living there for 6 years with my own horse, living in a massive mansion house with 20 acres. Oh, only 20 acres. I know it's so small, wasn't it? Only 20 acres. And riding my horse a lot and shooting. And there was someone said, Fergus, she said. She was a very well spoken lady up there. I'm not going to do the Yorkshire accent because she didn't have the Yorkshire accent. She said, Fergus, you are our token Londoner. I became a token Yorkshire person. And my ex-father-in-law said, right, we'll put up with you, but don't you bring any other Southerners up here. And he meant it. He actually did. He didn't. They don't like the English in Yorkshire. It's a different country, believe me. It's not England. When you go to Yorkshire, I talk about when I go back to England, I mean London. It is different. It is very different. And there are big, strong historical reasons why it's different, which I'll go into a different time. But you've got to, one, know your topic backwards. Two, want to speak about your topic. Three, use the basic ways of speaking, such as the rule of three. Four, only ever speak to one person. Oh, I'll give you five. I'll give you number five. This is a good one. Promise you. Let's say there are, call it 200 individuals in front of you. 200 individuals.
Yes.
Okay. Where do you look?
One person.
Okay. Correct. So how do you make sure you look at every single one person?
You look over their head.
No. I'm so pleased you got that wrong, Cecilia. Well done. Okay. You know the figure eight?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Take a figure eight, turn it on its side, and stretch it a bit. And do that with your eyes. Big, long, lazy eight. and make eye contact with anyone who wants to make eye contact with you, because that person will think you're speaking to them and no one else. I'm
Okay,
sure
so it's a figure 8
on its side, on its side.
on its side, yeah. So you go like that.
Yeah, and you just casually, nice and relaxed, and you just make eye contact. People love eye contact with the person on stage because they think, they're speaking to me. I think it's me they're talking to. A friend of mine, years and years ago, she went to Phantom of the Opera, okay, where Michael Crawford, I think is his name, was wearing a mask. And she was convinced he was looking at her in the audience. How would she know? He had a mask on. But his acting was so powerful, she believed he was looking at her. And another person who went to a Queen concert at Wembley and showed photographs. You could see Freddie Mercury like tiny in the distance. He looked at me, she said, and she still says it now. Oh, he did look at me. Freddie Mercury smiled at me. How would she know? He was half a mile away across the auditorium, across Wembley Stadium. For goodness sake, that's rather big. And she felt so much of a connection with the person up there that that's what drove her. And Nigel Farage did that the other day. Everybody, it was a big audience. I was so jealous. I was so jealous. It's about 2,000 or 3,000 people in the field, and he just whacked into them, and they loved it because every one of all those individuals, loved what he was saying to them individually. And it's just like once more into the breach. Stiffen the sinews, summon up the blood, disguise fair nature with hard favoured rage. See you stand like greyhounds in the slips. Cry, God for Harry, England, and St. George. And he literally did. I couldn't believe what he was doing. He grabbed the audience using Shakespeare. So,
Fergus, do you still get nervous just before going on stage?
no, 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 no. Now,
No
I
matter,
learned,
even if for the first time, new audience, new place, new country, you don't get nervous.
no. If I'm nervous, I'm not supposed to be up there. Now, I'll tell you, every individual listening to me, hello, individuals, when I learned stage fright, and I think you will understand, I was in the Royal Shakespeare Company at the time, and I was doing the play Henry V, and I was playing Boy in Henry V. And there's a particular speech that Boy has to do, which is really, really important because you've got an engineer who will press a button to let all dry ice fumes go all over the stage, press another one to play the sound of horses, and press another one to tell the soldiers to run on, the French soldiers first and then the English soldiers afterwards. Okay? So I'm on the stage. I've been doing the same play for about 4 months. And there's a scene with me and two other actors. And I've got a 15-foot long, it's made of glass fiber, but it was a spear, a great big spear like you wear on a horse. Great big thing. And I was standing there doing the scene with the two actors. And Peter Hall, who's now Sir Peter Hall, if he's still alive, I don't know, he was the director anyway. And just before we started doing the play, he'd removed a speech that I was supposed to do. And it was a joke about 200 crowns. Now, the V sign was used during that period of Henry V because the French said they were going to chop off all our archers' fingers. So after we won the battle in France, we went, yeah, still got my fingers. That's what the V sign stood for. And Churchill did it that way round. He used it as V for victory. So I was standing on the stage and there was a line, quite a long line, which had been removed by Peter Hall during rehearsals. And after you've been doing the same play for 4 or 5 months, it becomes harder to remember your lines, believe it or not. And I was starting to say that line. I thought, no, it's gone. No, 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 not that one. And my brain went, okay. I had nothing. The whole script had gone. out of my head. I couldn't remember a single word. And I looked at the other two actors on stage with me. There was a big pause of silence, and I went, Struth! Because I had to be a Cockney boy. Struth, as in God's truth. At which point, one of the actors said, 200 crowns. I went, yeah. And at which point, they carried on the scene. They got off stage. Okay, now this is where oh, great. Ask them.
Knowledge
Ask
of
them.
the topic of what you are
Great.
speaking
Stand up
about.
and tell us more. Yeah, it's good. It's fine. Yeah. So there I am walking to the front of the stage. I have to lay down a 15-foot glass fiber spear. I've got Prince Philip in a box one side of the theatre. I've got Prince, as he was then, Charles, in a box the other side of the theatre, and an audience of 675 people.
Sam didn't get it. Sam, you answered the question, but I think Sam didn't get it. He answered the question already. Sam, Fergus, I think you should
What you do? You
explain
ask them.
more.
Yeah. Okay. You say, oh, so one thing you do. This is a clever one. I promise you. This is clever. You say, okay, so you're asking me. Let's say we're talking about, I don't know, nuts and bolts. Oh, so you're asking me what I know about nuts and bolts compared with that gives you time. You repeat back what they ask. So if a member of the audience says to you, yeah, but what do you know about nuts and bolts? Ah, what do I know about nuts and bolts? That is actually a very good question. Thank you. What do you think I know about nuts and bolts? And what do you know about nuts and bolts? You've got them. That's it. You've got them totally because they've got to answer. So as I walked to the front of the stage, I had to lay down my spear and walk to the front center of the stage with 670 people, a prince up there, another prince up there, and deliver a speech to the world. And I walked to the front and I put my spear down. I walked to the front and the words suddenly came out. Thank goodness. And I went off stage, got supposedly killed, bit my blood capsule, carried back on stage and all the fake blood pouring out my mouth. And I went up to the woman doing the special effects, pressing all the buttons. I said, why didn't you give me a prompt? Oh, I thought you were pausing for effect. What, for 30 seconds? That was the day I learned stage fright. Because before then, I'd been a professional actor for, I don't know, 4 years, I think. I had no fear at all. And here's the thing, everybody. Here's what happens. In every theatre, I guarantee the lavatories are all full before the performance. Everybody has to go because of the
Yeah, because
fear
everyone
factor.
is nervous, isn't it? Because
Yeah,
everyone is
yeah,
nervous.
yeah,
So they have to go.
yeah, literally. And that performance taught me to be afraid, to get stage fright, which is good because that's why I can teach people
Fergus,
not
but
to
what
go.
do you do when you go completely, like now that you're a professional public speaker? What do you do when you go completely blank? You know, it happens a lot. It happens a lot to a lot of people. You get ready, you prepare your speech, everything, and when you get in front of the audience, that minute you just go blank. What do you do?
Okay,
How do you? Yeah.
okay. You think of the title of your speech because it should always have a title. Okay. Let's say your speech is about GT85, the oil that you use for chains of bicycles. Okay. You know your title is today I'm going to talk about GT85. Okay. So you get up on the stage. So everybody, my speech today is about GT85. Who here in the audience who knows about GT85, the oil? Yeah, and it gives you time to think, think, think. And when somebody asks you a question, you don't know the answer straight away. You say it back to them, like I'm just saying it now to Sam. What do you do? Yes, Sam. That's a good question. What do I do? That gives me time to think. Yeah, you've got a good 10 seconds of listening there. You've got 10 seconds. And so, okay, Sam, what do you, Sam, think I should do if I lose all my lines? I've forgotten everything. What do you think? See, gives me lots of time. Meanwhile, my brain's putting it all together again. He's rebuilding it. Yes, yes, oh yeah, they will. The rest of the audience will definitely accept it because they think, okay, that's good. I've heard that question twice now. That's good. I've had the man in the audience say it, and the man on stage say the same question to that man in the audience, and then he can say, "Okay, anybody else?" Notice not everyone. Anybody has got some input on GT85 oil? Anybody else got knowledge of that? Someone go, "Yeah, I got it. I use it for my bicycle wheels." Okay, why do you use it for your bicycle wheels? Well, because it's a very good. That's it. You're off and away. You're off and running again, and then by then you'll remember your lines.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello, hello, hello. How are you doing today? Hope you're all doing well. If you're just joining us, today we are here with Fergus McClelland. He is a public speaker. And today's topic is on public speaking. So we are talking about the rules of public speaking and um, how to make a powerful speech, no matter the subject or whatever the subject. However, if you have got questions about public speaking, please do put them forward. Write them on the comment section, and Fergus is going to answer them for you. For example, if you have a problem with confidence when it comes to public speaking, go ahead and ask Fergus, how do I how do I become more confident on stage? How do I stand on stage? Like questions like that. So I'd like to ask your question because I can see Sam has asked another question, Fergus. But just go ahead and ask your questions on the comment section. um yes, and Fergus will respond. He'll give you one liner. Fergus, I know you've been answering the questions, like you're giving just one liners, and I can get them, and that's really interesting. So please do ask your questions. If you've got questions on public speaking, go ahead and ask Fergus. He's the man. I don't have all the questions. I've been asking questions, and just go ahead. Yeah, you've got a question now, Fergus.
Oh yeah, stammering. Stammering. I can definitely talk about stammering. Stammer. Okay. Right. We think at 2,500 words a minute. We talk at a maximum 250 words a minute. Okay. Now, if we insist that our mouth keeps up with our brain, it won't. It can't. I can read 10 times as fast as I can write. As I can speak. Okay. So, what you do, and there was a young boy in my local Blockbusters years ago, and this film, this is just the film for you. And he was really nice. He knew every film in the shop. And I said, stop, think, speak. Literally, stop, think, speak. In other words, you have to slow yourself down because your brain is going so fast. And if you watch Ed Balls, the politician, he's actually a stammerer and he has to control it. And this boy did it and it worked for him really quickly. His eyes opened wide and said, oh, this works. Yes, stop. Literally, you're going to say anything, stop. Don't say a word until you've thought about it. Then say it. Stop, think, speak. Stop, think, speak. Yeah, that would be my thing for you, definitely.
Wow, that's a good one. And stop, think, speak.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've got a friend, and she's got the same problem, and now I've got an answer for her. So I'll be telling her that. So stop, think, speak
yeah.
all the time. It's a good one, Fergus. Thank you very much. That's a very good one.
You have
Oh,
to slow yourself, and it worked for this boy in Blockbusters because he knew virtually every film in the shop. And he got to, okay, I've got to, I've got to. No, calm down, stop. And Ed Balls, remember, the politician who now goes on the morning show on whatever station it's called, I don't know, ITV. He is. I met him in person. He's really, really nice as a human being when he's not on camera. And I didn't realise how nice he was until I met him at a special press showing. And he's got a stammer. And you watch him speaking, Ed Balls, and he speaks like this deliberately because he's learned to stop, think, speak. It really does work, I promise you. No, no problem, unbeaten. What a
Sam
title.
says, what do you do when what you said is fact checked to be incorrect? Oh my God, Sam, that's a good one as well.
It's a good
When you
one.
say something
I know
that's
what you say. I know what you say. Really? Wow. Thank you for sharing that with us all. And that's when you do us. You don't do me. Thank you for sharing that with us. Are we all happy? Look, we've got more facts now. Thank you ever so much. How did you find that out? Because I didn't know it. You get them, each individual, to join in with you with your embarrassment. And also remember what I was saying earlier. When I'd forgotten all my lines and I laid my spear down, I walked to the front center of the stage and I thought there's nothing going to come out. But because my body was actually used to doing that performance, when I hit my mark, the words came out. So remember, muscle memory is really, really useful. So if you've been practicing, let's say you practice a presentation with a relative or a friend, you've practiced doing it. Think of how you did it when you're doing the practicing. So if you practice, let's say you practice doing your final presentation 5 times with a close family member. When you hit the stage, you do the same moves, get in the same position, and the words will come out because your body will remember it. It's really strange. Muscle memory is incredibly powerful.
wow, that's a good one. Thank you very much, Fergus. If you're joining, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining from. How are you today? Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more. And subscribe. Sam just wrote something. I just got distracted. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And if you're just joining today, we are talking about the rules of speaking with Fergus McClelland. So if you've got your questions ready, do ask them. If you've got questions on public speaking, Fergus is your man. Please ask them. Fergus, so how do we beat the fear of public speaking? How do we go on stage confidently and just because sometimes before you go on stage you're like, oh my God, can I do this, can I do this? You're just frightened, you're petrified. How do you just go, I can do this?
You've practiced it quite a few times with somebody kind. Also, you can practice it in front of a mirror. Okay, so you're watching yourself in the mirror is actually very good, right? You want to know your topic well for a start. Otherwise, why are you up there? Why you? What gives you the right to use people's time for your words and your thoughts? You've got to think about that. Now, I do a lot of speaking training, more than anything else nowadays. I do speaking training. I use Zoom, and I train people one-to-one sometimes in a room. At which point they do pay me an awful lot of money one-to-one in person. They pay me a lot less on Zoom per hour, but in a room it's a lot of money per hour. Why? Because I know I'm worth it. Okay. The first thing you want to do about your presentation or speech is know that you're worth it. Now, there's a thing I've been talking to a few people about recently. You, Cecilia, are extremely good looking, and you know it. That works. But you listen and you learn. So you can stand in front of a mirror and look at yourself and spend 3 minutes silently, you don't move at all, looking at yourself and just thinking about all the good things about you that there are. 3 minutes. all it takes. Thinking about all the good stuff about you. I don't bother anymore. But I don't know how to move. Subscribe, please. I don't know what that means. So I've done, for friends, I've done a lot of DIY work, wallpapering and painting and putting things together and all that sort of thing, just as a favor. And I was doing it with a man I knew very well who was an incredible painter and decorator. Now, he'd had a brain injury, which meant his hands shook, but he could still paint a perfect straight line at the top of a wall. Even though his hand was shaking, the line was perfect. And he said about me, he said, the great thing about you, Fergus, is you listen. And when I was living in Yorkshire, there was a woman who was, she was on the Olympic medalist team for horse riding. And I wanted to do drop jumps on my horse. Now, a drop jump, like, you can do 1 and 2 and 3, single, double, triple jump. However, a drop jump, you're jumping downhill on your horse. So you have to use a totally different technique. Because just think, if you're jumping down a hill and you've got half a ton of horse underneath you and you go over its head and it comes down on top of you, you're not going to be in a good state afterwards. So I was doing a practice round on a local place. I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, and I said to this woman, how do I do a drop jump just there? She said, well, okay, you, instead of going off at 3 steps, you go off at 4 steps and you lean back instead of leaning forward. I said, oh, thank you. And my wife said to me at the time, she said, why did you listen to her and not to me? Well, because she's in the Olympic gold medalist team. I thought I'd rather listen to her than you, darling. And she was great. And she said about me, just like this painting and decorating man said, the thing about you, Fergus, is this is the biggest thing for everyone today. You listen. I became very good at cleaning brushes when I was working with this other man. And I use oil paint. You've got to be very good to use oil paint. Other people, I advise them to use water-based paints because you can clean it up much more easily. Oil painting is an advanced skill with a paintbrush or a roller. It's very advanced. I can do it because I've been trained by experts. Otherwise, please don't do it because you'll get paint all over you, all over your clothes, all over the carpet, and you will not get it off the carpet. Whereas if it's water-based paint, really hot water, you can get it off. So it's having the skill to listen. When I said to this woman, this Olympic medalist woman, I was training her husband in speaking, and he was training me in shooting, really advanced shotgun shooting. And I am what's called a B in shotguns, which is the second best to an A. And she said, well, Fergus, the reason you become so good is because you're a coach and you listen. And the man I was painting with said, the great thing is, Fergus, you're a coach and you listen. And Cecilia, you listened. It took me, 5 or 10 minutes to really teach you a lot because you were listening and learning. You've got to, if you're, whatever you're doing in life, listen and learn. How do you compose yourself in debate? Well,
Who are more
you learn.
knowledgeable.
Yeah, you learn a lot about the topic. And don't be afraid to ask them. So let's say there's Fred and Mary. Okay. So Fred, what do you think the most important thing is? Okay, Mary, what do you think? And let them do it. Let them do all the work for you. There is an American woman speaker. A white South African's racist? That they speak like this? No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. I know a really, really nice white South African. He's got a doctorate in psychology. And I've done voice recordings for him for some films he was making. He's not racist at all. He's big. He's like 6'4" because I was in Iran with him. He's really big man, and he walks like this. But he's very nice. No, there's no racism about him at all. No. And they are, well, there aren't many of them nowadays, let's face it. So not necessarily. I would say, yeah, not that. Don't ascribe. I would say my thought is don't ascribe an opinion to a group because you don't know them all. It's very dangerous to say all white South Africans. Well, it's called an allness statement. Okay, there's no such thing as all.
No,
There's some.
you can't generalize.
No, you just can't.
No,
No,
you can't. You can't.
it's dangerous, very dangerous. Well, believe me, nowadays, white South Africans are not harsh when they're dealing
And
with black.
Fergus,
No, yeah,
Fergus, I think we should carry on with our topic for today,
yeah,
which is public speaking. I'm just seeing that what's happening now. That's not our topic for today.
no.
So we will not be talking about that. How do you handle stage fright? For example, you're being asked a question on stage and you just go blank. How do you handle that? What do you do when you're being asked a question? You're on stage, you get a question from an audience, from a member from a member,
Okay,
and you
now,
just go blank. What do you do?
I think, Cecilia, that is a really, really good question. So, what would you do, Cecilia, if you went blank? Hmm? That's what I
Um,
do. That's what I do, you see. Turn
you
it back.
pause.
I pause and I ask you the question back. Remember,
Okay.
the last time I was here, I said that given, let's say you've got 100 people in front of you, 100 individuals for an
Yes.
hour, okay, that is a gift. That's 100 hours of human beings' time and energy are being given to me. That is an honor and it's a gift. So my thought is to be as prepared as possible. And remember what I said about getting to the front center of the stage, putting the spear down, walking. Muscle memory is very, very strong. If you've got a way of walking, a way of standing, a position, and you rehearse a lot until it's automatic. My father, a lot of people will have heard of the play The Mousetrap, which is in the West End. It's the longest running play in the world. Agatha Christie's, not Crispy, Agatha Christie's Mousetrap is the longest running play in the world. And it's still at the same, no, they moved one theatre. Anyway, my father was in the cast for the first 3 years, or 3.5 years at the time. Now they change the cast every 6 months. And he said that what used to go wrong for him, just like happened to me, is that when you've been doing it for a long time, that's when you forgot your lines. When you've been doing it over and over and over and over, that's when the lines fall out of your head. Very strange.
And Sam says, if you let them do the work, won't you feel defeated?
Not if you feel good about yourself. No, 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 no. And if you don't feel good about yourself, don't get up there. Really.
Oh, and
You've
we've
got
got,
to
wow,
feel.
Son of Soweto is here. Where have you been, Son of Soweto? Good to have you here today. Come on, where have you been? We've missed you. And Son of Soweto has got a question for you, Fergus. He says, how do you measure progress and success in your coaching? It's a question. How do you,
Uh, yeah,
yeah.
that's a very good question. Um, there was a woman I was training, coaching, when I was living in Yorkshire, and she had some specialist skill. I can't remember what it was, but whatever it was to do with child management, I think, looking after children. And she was bothered that if the parents of a child said something nasty to her, she felt bad about herself straight away. And after I trained her, she said, "It's wonderful, Fergus." And I gave her a special discount as well. She said, "It's wonderful, Fergus. Now I feel centered always inside myself." And there's somebody who qualified as a nurse, and she had this special consultation to do to finally get her top thingies as a nurse. And I trained her because I'd met her at Meridian Speakers. And she said the thing that I taught her was confidence about her own ability. And when she did it, when she did her special final exam, they thought she'd been a nurse for 4 or 5 years. That's when I knew I'd succeeded. That paid me. Just knowing that feedback from people like that, that tells me I'm good at what I do and it's worth it. And I'm worth the money as well.
And there's another question from Sam, please. Can you see that?
Yeah. Yes, definitely a strong conclusion. Yeah. How do I know what to do? I've got 2 questions from you. Hang on, Sam. Son and Sam, both of you. You're so good, both of you. Hang on. Which is much easier? Standing in one place as opposed to moving from side to side on a stage. Well, very good question. It depends what you want to do on the stage. If you want to, as I was saying earlier, you missed that bit.
He missed that bit because I used to walk.
And you did.
I used to wander on stage a lot for no good reason. I just used to go left and.
Yeah, exactly. Mickey Flanagan used it once, and he said, so he's walking from one side of the stage to the other. Well, that's the length of my coffee table, and it made it really funny. He used the whole stage to be the width of his coffee table. That was deliberate. Whereas, what's his name?
Michael McIntyre.
Michael McIntyre just do. You get dizzy watching him, but he uses it as a plus point. He uses it as a sort of game. And there's another comedian who uses it as a game. But if you haven't got a reason to move, don't move, because you'll make the audience dizzy. And also, don't stand too close to the front, because that'll be intimidating. Now, here's a question for all of you. What should be included? Hang on. I'm just going to get close because, we've covered that one. What should be included in a strong conclusion to enforce my message? How do I know what to leave out? Okay, we've sort of covered this before. But 1, it's got to be simple and straightforward. See that? I only used 2 there. I should have used 3. It's to be simple, understandable, and straightforward. Now that works better, doesn't it? Yes, it does. And we know the age range of the people listening. Doesn't matter what their age range is. You write it as though you're writing for a 13-year-old. Why? Because if I went, it's definitely correct that you write it for a professor to listen to, and if the professor of linguistics was to understand the deepest bits of my presentation, then no, I've lost you. I've lost you all. Every single person now, I said every single person, is thinking, what's he doing? If I talk it nice and simple, you will understand, right? As if you keep the language simple. The reason is, okay, let's say I pick this up. So I can do it with anything, I'm pleased to say. I actually got booking from picking up something I'd never read before. No, not that, because I know that backwards. That's not fair. Let's see. What's this? No, I want something. Something to read out loud, which we know. Oh, yes. The instructions, right? The instructions of something I recently got. Okay, I haven't read them before. Okay, so remembering we were talking earlier about people who stutter and stammer, and the ums and ers, and how to get rid of those. But stop, think, speak. Well, it's the same when you're reading something aloud. It's called the echoing game. I'll talk about the echoing game another time, but let's have a look. The hour figure flashes. Press up to increase or down to decrease the alarm hour. Press set again. The minute figure flashes. Press up and down to set the minutes. Press set again to save and leave. When the alarm sounds, if you press mode, a reminder will sound every 5 minutes. Press another button to stop the alarm, activating and disabling the alarm. Press down to activate the alarm and the following logo will appear. To activate a beep every hour, press the down button again and the following logo will appear. Press, do you want me to do it faster? I've never read this before, ever. And look at the size of the writing, everybody. It's tiny. And I don't know what I'm reading. Got no clue. So it's obviously, it's not to do with the pump, it's to do with the clock, I suppose. I don't know. To do with the digital clock I've got. So I can do anything like that. And I did it once with an audience, and I immediately, oh, okay, hang on, here's a book. Here's a book. Okay, here's a book, which I haven't read. You can see it's never been opened. Okay. And it's Richard Bandler, Time for a Change. Okay. One of the inventors of NLP. Let's have a look. The house cleaning pattern, the redoubtable belief mobile.
Sam, I love your question. I so love that question. That's a good one.
Well, if it's on there, okay, it's a strong conclusion. Yeah, but a strong conclusion.
Okay, yeah, it's that one. And then Sam has got another question for you.
Yeah, well, certainly we've done standing in one place. You move when you need to. You go over there, you go over there, you stand in the middle, whatever. But I'm going to tell you another thing about that as well. Now, this will get you. It's a question to each person. Okay. Let's say you're about to get on a stage from one side or the other. Which side do you get on the stage? Left or right?
You get on the right. No reason.
No. Well, it's because you're so clever, Cecilia. Yes. You watch American presidents, they always come on the right to the center. Okay. Now, if you're Japanese, you come on from the left.
But why? Why do they come from the right, middle, left? Is it the introduction
No.
body
No.
conclusion?
No.
Okay,
no.
we want to know, please. Why is that?
Okay. Okay. English language, European languages, the writing goes from the right to the left, from the right to the left. And if you watch a pantomime, the hero always comes on from the right and the villain always comes on from the left. It's that simple. And you watch the President of America always comes on from the right. Always. So anyway, let's handle a situation. Someone give a more powerful, convincing speech on the same topic. Yeah, from the audience view, it's on the left-hand side. Yes. Stage right, in other words. Yes, correct. Because you're traveling the way the English language does, see? From that. And of course, I'm doing it wrong.
And how do you use the stage, Fergus? How do you use the stage? Because I know I'm not really sure about this, but I used to wander a lot on stage. Now I don't. I just stand in the middle and do whatever I have to do in the middle. I don't wander anymore. Before I used to wander aimlessly. Now I don't. So how do you use the stage? Can you just
imagine? Right, you chop the stage like into crisscross lines, into 6 boxes. Let's just keep it simple. 6 boxes. Right. So you've got the dead center. You've got back center, center, front center. Right. So you've got 9 boxes. Okay.
Yes.
So you've got left, back, center, front, right, back, center, front, and central, back, center, front. Okay?
Yes.
You've got 9 boxes. If you're showing a lovely PowerPoint on a great big screen, go to the back on the left of the audience. Yeah. Because you're not threatening them. Now, if you want to really emphasize a point, you come to front center, but not very often. Front center is brutal. And it's funny, I've seen people say, oh, that's the best place to be. No, it depends what you're saying. If you've got something you want to share with the people on the left and the right, you go across to the left, you've got to have a reason to move. You don't wander. You go over there and you plant your feet and you say it. And then you go back over there and you plant your feet and say it. You don't wander backwards and forwards aimlessly. You've got to do it like I want to join with the entire audience. Okay, so I'm over here, and then I'm coming to here, and then I'm coming to here. Right. So I'm doing 1, 2, 3, and go to the back. I'm going to the back now because I'm wanting to hold up the foot. Okay. Now, if I do it this way, and I say, right, here's a book, you go, oh no, it's too intrusive. It's too intrusive to do it that way. What is it? Oh, son of, he's always good. What impression does it create in the mind of audience? The person comes from left to right.
What
No, it's
impression does
based
it
on the
create
language.
in
It's
the
based
mind
on the
of
way
the
we write the English language.
person?
We move from that side to that side when we're speaking. It's literally like reading the words on a piece of paper. That's why.
Fergus, what about your hands? How do you use them? Because sometimes we just don't know what to do with our hands. We don't know. You just go. Sometimes you like this. That like your clothes, like this. Especially when you're on stage, you don't know how to. You can't put your hands in your pockets. You're like, oh my God, what do I do with my hands on stage? Please tell us what. How do we use our hands on stage?
Funny enough, the first time I ever went to a Toastmasters event, okay, when I was telling you earlier, I met this woman and she said, please, could I come along? And they said, could you, they do a thing called table topics, which I think is great fun. They'll suddenly ask a question of people in the audience who've already agreed to get up and do something off the top of their head, which I love, table topics. So I said, yeah, I'll do that. And they said, would you send your child to public school? Fergus. So I got up and stood on stage. I said, well, yes, I would actually, because, you know, it might be snobby, but if I had a child, which I hadn't even met my wife at the time, I said, if I had a child, I'd want them to get an education that gave them the best of everything. And I know it sounds wicked, but at the same time, I would definitely, if I had the money, I'd send them to public school. And I put my hands behind me, okay, and held my own hands behind my back. Said, thank you, and went and sat down. And the person who was reviewing it afterwards said, now, Fergus, you've got to be careful, because putting your hands behind your back is a sign of nervousness. I thought, no, you've got it so wrong. It's if you think of royal family, or you think of Sergeant Major with his baton, his stick, they put their hand behind their back to hold the stick. You've got so much confidence, you can put your hands behind your back because you know you're safe. You stick your chest out, put your hands behind your back, or you put them in your pockets is a good one, leaving the thumbs out. Okay, if you've got trousers on and you've got pockets both sides, put your hand in your pocket, but leave the thumb out. Otherwise, it looks horrible.
Boris used to do that a lot. He used to leave his thumbs out, and and William as well.
Yeah.
Prince William does that a lot, and he'll put his hand in his pocket.
Correct.
He'll leave his thumbs out, and Boris Johnson used to do that a lot. He would always put his hands with his thumbs out. What's the meaning of that?
If you put your whole hand in, it looks scruffy and it's a mess. If you just slide your fingers in, it's like, oh, I just decided to put my fingers somewhere. And there's a funny thing that one. See, this is horrible, isn't it? You never point at your audience. You never point your fingers at your. It's horrible to be pointed at. So what Tony Blair used to do, he'd do this, and he'd wave his fists, and oh my God, just don't. He'd do so. What you need to do is, and he always did this, Tony Blair. He didn't do that. He did that. Just don't use your hand. Put your hands there. You can wave them around in the sky. You can cross your arms. Yeah, you can. You can put your fingers in your pockets, or behind your back, you can put your hands and hold the two hands together. Those are the things to do with your hands. And also, you can indicate. You'll have been noticing, everyone will have noticed, what I've been doing today is doing stuff with my hands. Because I think, okay, how can I, see,
Okay,
notice
yeah,
this,
you've been doing. Yeah.
how can I accentuate this message? Well, nice open hand. Open hand gestures are great. So, who has got an answer? You see, you do that. Who can answer that? And I don't know. Just think of watching a mime artist. Oh, there's a thing I do. There is a thing I do sometimes in presentations. Okay, notice my two fingers like that. I talk about this big sheet of glass. So I do this. Well, sorry, I can't get it all in the camera, but I do the shape of a piece of glass when I'm standing on stage. Okay, I then step off the stage and trip. I'm not really tripping, and the person in the front row screams. Always works because they think suddenly they're being hit by a sheet of glass and there's nothing there. Nothing, just my hands. I go, oops, and they go, ah, and there's nothing there. That is how you use your hands to create a meaning in somebody's head. Blue,
Fergus, you've got a
don't know.
question from Son of Soweto, please.
Yeah, about the colour of your tie. I don't think the colour of your tie matters, really. If you want to look Tory, you wear a blue tie. If you want to look Labour, you wear a red tie. It's that boring, really is. Use any old tie. I've got some lovely ties with lovely patterns all over them. And I do love my collection of ties. My father inherited a collection of ties from a friend of his, Louis McNeice, who was a writer and a playwright. And I think my father had about 250 ties, all on this massive rack in his wardrobe. And I've only got about 20 or 30 ties, but suddenly I'll know what tie to wear on a particular day. So, ooh, that's nice. However, I don't always, well, I'm not wearing one now, am I? I'm wearing a zip up top shirt.
We
Which
have got a brilliant question from Sam. It's a good one. I love that question, Sam.
Oh, I don't know about that. The diamonds. Oh, no. That's correct. Oh, yeah. Oh, oh, Sam, what a good question. Well, if
It
I'm
is a
doing,
good question.
it's a really good question. Oh my God, if I went to Saudi, would I come on from the left instead of the right? Mm. I should. I should, actually. Sam, that is such a good question. Yes, because I hadn't thought of that. Yes, I definitely should come on from the other side because of Arabic. Yes, definitely.
Yeah, because
I
they're
was,
right. They write from this side to this side. So do you
yeah, you
come
reverse
from
it.
that?
Yeah, you reverse it because Arabic's written the other way, you see.
And he goes further to say, what if the speech is in English? Do you still come from the other side?
Yeah, you still, if you're in an Arabic country, you come from their side. You come on from the opposite side to what you would here. You come on from stage left. Yeah, definitely, instead of stage right. Yeah.
Okay, and
If you do
Fergus,
your,
no,
if you do
carry
your
on,
9
Fergus.
blocks, if you do your grill of 9 squares, yeah, 3, 3, 3, you put the center ones. You put center front, center back, center mid. Okay, and then you've got SL, as in stage left and stage right. Now, the way you get that right, you hold a piece of paper and you turn it to face away from you, right? So you think, right, that's stage left. Okay. Now, if you're in the audience, it's right. Yeah. Stage left is right and stage right is left. So you just mark up your piece of paper and you think stage left, stage middle, stage right. 1, 2, 3. Notice I'm doing my hand. 1, 2, 3. Arabic, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, no, oral culture. You're talking about a culture with no written language at all. I don't know. I don't know, son of Soweto. Um, no, I don't know that. It's like, for example, um, Yeah, I'm just thinking. In Judaism, when the boy has his bar mitzvah, he stands in front of a scroll, and he just stands dead center, and he's Baruch Adonai Elohim Eloheinu. He just stands there and does it, delivers it. It doesn't matter which side he comes on from, because he's got to climb up to a podium, like a priest does in the church. You have, oh, I did that once. It was great. I actually got to do a presentation from one of those boxes in the church that they get up into. Oh, it was wonderful. And I only had an audience of a few hundred, but it was really good sound quality in the building. It was like, I was in a state of bliss, I tell you, to actually go and do in a pulpit. So here I am today in a pulpit, reading from the Bible unto you, all of you, you mere human beings, because I'm up here doing a presentation from the Bible. So be God. Thank you. Oh, it was great fun. And the enter stage shouldn't matter in an oral culture, but it would. All right, here's my other question, because I did ask this last time. When is a chair not a chair?
Oh, that's that question. A chair is not a chair when it's not a chair because it's not a chair. No, that was just a joke.
Oh, it no. Okay, a
When
chair is
is a
not a
chair?
chair.
Son of Soweto Sam, when is a chair not a chair? When it's not there. Oh, I'm just guessing.
No, no.
So when is a chair not a chair? Now we have to think.
I'll make it easier for all of you, all you
Okay.
individuals I'm talking to. Describe. Yeah. Oh, son of, you are good, aren't you? Yes, that type of thing. Yes. Okay, what does yours look like, son of? What does your chair look like? And Sam, what does your chair look like? Okay, just write it down in a few words. And Cecilia, what does your chair look like? Just in a few words out loud. Tell me what your chair looks like, and then I'll tell you what my. You see, you're on a chair.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
on the chair.
Yeah, mine doesn't look like that. No, nothing like that. Are you getting it
It,
yet?
so you mean a chair as in the one where we sit on? Yes, son of
Yeah.
Soweto. The one. A chair is not
Yeah,
a
yeah,
chair when
yeah.
you can't sit on it.
The chair is not a chair. A chair is a concept. It's not an absolute. Right. I can see Cecilia's chair. I
Hmm.
sit mostly cross-legged on the floor. So my chair is no chair. So if you took your favorite chair and dropped it into the middle of a jungle in Borneo, the local people go, "Ooh, this is good. It's some firewood. Let's chop it." They wouldn't dream of sitting on it. And in Japan, they don't use chairs. They sit cross-legged on the floor. So they don't use a kitchen chair. No. And what I used to do, doing a big presentation, I'd have a PowerPoint slide with about 10 different chairs on it, all different types and colors. I said, okay, which one of these is your chair? And everybody said, none of them. No, because a chair is a concept. It's something you use. And so if you dropped it into the jungle, they'd chop it up and they'd use it to make spears with or for firewood. The idea of sitting on it, they go, what? No, I sit cross-legged on the floor. That'd be a joke to sit on top of that thing, whatever it is that's just arrived in my jungle. So the reason I'm saying about chair, culpabilizer, capitalizer. Oh, well, no, it's
Hello,
probably.
Wesley. How are you, Wesley Jr. from Kenya? How are you today? Hope you're doing well.
Jumbo
If you're
Wesley.
just joining, Wesley, if you're just joining today, we are talking about how to craft a speech, whatever it is, how to make a speech powerful, whatever it is. So we are here today talking about public speaking with Fergus McClelland, and Fergus is a renowned public speaker and a coach. So That is our topic for today. And please, if you have not subscribed to the channel, do so now, please. And we haven't got so much time left. We've got about we've got less than 10 minutes left. So if you've got your questions, please do ask them. Fergus, thanks very much. We have been on for more than 1 hour.
Yeah.
We have, it's almost 2 hours, so we've not got so much time left. We are going
No.
to be Yes, we're going to be bringing today's session to a close very soon. So if you've got your questions, please do ask. If you've got questions on public speaking, this is the time for you to ask. So go ahead and ask your questions. Thanks very much, Wesley. Do make sure you subscribe to the channel and don't forget to hit on the thumbs up button, please. Thank you.
And Wesley,
So
I said Jambo.
a chair is not your chair. If it was
No.
borrowed. I love that Son of Soweto. Son of Soweto says, a chair is not your chair if it was borrowed. From who? From where?
Doesn't matter. It's still not a chair. Okay. Son of Soweto. Okay. A chair is a concept, not a thing. And I'll prove it. I'm going to use two other things. This is to round up, but this is very, very advanced. And it's Count Alfred Korzybski, who I mentioned before, who wrote Science and Sanity. Okay. Jumbo chair. No, not a jumbo chair. Oh, I was just saying jumbo, not a jumbo chair. Made out of an elephant's foot, I suppose. No. I would say to everybody, okay, think of a spider. Right, the word spider. In 3 words, give your description of the word spider. Okay, you can only use 3 words, maximum of 3 words about spider. Because I'm going to prove to you there are lots of different types of spider. So, put spider in 3 words, Cecilia.
Spider is an insect.
No. What you think of spider.
Okay,
You
what
could
I
say,
think of creepy, dangerous,
okay,
creepy crawly.
that's all right. That's all right. That's okay. It's just to get you thinking. Okay, and I'm sure everybody else is thinking about that type of spider. However, there are 2 other types of spider. Okay, at least. What's this? Creepy arachnid venom. Yeah, and somebody said, fluffy and delicious.
What?
What? He'd eaten a roasted spider in some country. It's like, oh no. Ugh. Okay, right. There are 2 other types of spider. One, and everybody has probably seen one. It's a special thing with lots of lots of bolt heads in it. Yeah, used for taking wheels off cars. Special spanner. It's called a spider. And
Wesley says it's an insect that have 8 legs. Wesley.
yeah,
Yes,
it's an arachnid. It's not an insect. It's an arachnid. It's weird because it's got 8 legs, not 6. Yes, but it's an 8-leg tool for taking wheels off cars. Okay. Okay. Wesley, it's an eight thing. Also, there's another spider, which is a great big block of metal, which has got 8
oh, that's a
slots
good
in it.
one. A spider is not an insect.
No, it's not. It's an arachnid. Correct. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, because it's got 8 legs, not 6. That type of spider. However, you've got the 8-legged thing for taking the wheels off cars, and in the film studio, you've got a big metal block with 8 slots in it for plugging big lamps into. I mean, really big lamps like brutes, which are huge arc lamps for lighting a film set. So that's 3 types of thing, all of which are called a spider. Now, the reason I'm mentioning that, I could say in a speech, I tripped over a spider today, Which one? Was it the animal? Was it the metal block in the film studio? Or was it the thing for taking wheels off cars? So you've got to be careful using your words. And an example, Spider-Man is a man. Yeah, he's got spidey instincts though. Okay, so
And Son of Soweto, so Son of Soweto says Spider-Man is a man. No, Spider-Man is a woman. Are you serious? Spider-Man has got 4 legs.
oh, that's true. He hasn't got 8, but he flies around the sky quite nicely. Anyway, let's say this is my last training point for the day. Imagine I said to you, I had a delicious apple for breakfast. What if you hated apples, if you had an allergy to apples, or you'd once bitten into an apple and found half a worm in it? If I said I had a delicious apple, it's risky. If I said I had a delicious piece of my favorite fruit today, that's it. I mean, see? That's how you use words. Think about what they mean to the other person.
Ah, that's clever, Fergus. Whoa, that's a good one to take home today. Wow. Son of Soweto, Sam. Hello, everyone. Fergus, can you repeat the last point? Because that
Yeah,
I wasn't expecting that, and then it just hit home.
yeah. If I say I had a delicious apple for dinner or breakfast, even, you may hate apples. You may have been ill after eating apples. They may have given you bad wind or colic, and you may have bitten one with half a maggot in it or something. So if I say I had a delicious apple today, you go, ugh, I don't like apples. So I've lost you. I've lost you totally. If I say I had a delicious piece of my favorite fruit today, that's it. You'll think of your favorite fruit, see? Which might be an orange, might be a banana. I don't know. I don't care. I'm just saying I had some of my favorite fruit today. Get it? My favorite
Home.
fruit.
Wow. Good one, Fergus. Very
That's
good one. Yeah.
Alfred Korzybski, Science and Sanity. It's a big, thick book. I wouldn't read it. It's a huge book, but Tony Robbins and CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, and NLP are both based on what Count Alfred Korzybski of Hungary wrote in 1937. He invented all of that. Absolute genius. He went mad in the end. But it was a wonderful book he wrote, Science and Sanity. You don't need to read the book. You can find extracts from it on the internet. When is a chair not a chair? A chair is not a thing, it's a concept. You've just got to think, it's a concept, not a thing. And there are lots of different types of apple. So if I said, oh, I had a lovely apple today, which type? Was it a crab apple? Was it a Granny Smith apple? Was it a red? Was it a golden delicious? If I said a lovely apple, yeah, but what type? It might be one of those horrible, nasty little crab apple things which break your teeth. Or it might be a great big, horrible, over-sweetened green one, which is golden delicious, which is French. Or it might be a lovely russet. Oh, there's so many different types of apple. I'd have to describe what type of apple and why I enjoyed it. See, it gets complicated. That's some of my favorite fruit this morning. That's it. Move on.
Move on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Brilliant one, Fergus. And there's another question from Sam.
Yeah,
So good,
of
Sam.
course.
Yeah.
Yes, it's about what you know. It's not about yourself, it's about what you know. That's important. It's a good question. Again, you're always good, aren't you, Sham? You really are. Son of Soweto and Sam really star every time. Yes, you are delivering it because you know it and you want to share it. Look, I'm speaking now. I've been speaking for nearly 2 hours. Why? Well, partly because Cecilia is a friend of mine, And also, I love sharing what I know. I love lecturing. I love training. I love teaching people stuff that I know. I could talk about quite a few different topics for hours. I mean, I really could, because I do to my girlfriend, and she puts up with it. Funnily enough, she puts up with me giving her all sorts of trainings because I love to teach. I love to share. I love to share what I've discovered over a lot of years, young man, a lot of years. Been at it for a very long time. So that's my lot for the night, or for, actually afternoon. Yeah,
Oh, you're
it's
alive. So it's gone. I think we've gone over 2 hours now.
yeah.
Yeah. Sam, have you asked all your questions? Because we are rounding up. Fergus has been here for 2 hours. I told him we're gonna be here for 1 hour, so he spent another 1 more hour with us. And so please do ask your questions so we can
And also,
com-
you can always obviously. Oh, my problem. Son of Suwaita, I love your questions and yours as well, Sam. Any of you want to book me to train you? I use Zoom, and I
yes,
do charge a lot of money.
as Fergus, can you please share your social media so people can
Oh
reach you?
well,
So anyone who wants to book you, anyone who wants to reach out
yeah,
to you for training can do that, please.
yeah. They can use my email address certainly because I'm on X, I'm on Facebook. You can easily find me, Fergus McClelland, on Facebook.
Okay, so you're Fergus McClelland everywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
or
you can
Fergus
just
Voice,
okay,
or Fergus
Fergus vote.
McClelland. Yeah, I'm on
Okay
X
then.
as well, of course. I'm very active on X.
Sam says, great lecture from you today. Should we make a speech all centered around ourselves?
No,
Not really, no. Don't think
it's around what you know and you want to share. That's all. Otherwise, I'll suddenly come here, which I can do. I can give you quite a long lecture about electrical frequencies from VLF to LF to HF to VHF to UHF and SHF frequencies, electronic frequencies. I could do a lecture on that, but I
you
don't
lost me
because
on
nobody
that
wants
one.
to
I
know
was
that.
like, what, UFO? What are you talking about? You
No.
lost me on that one.
Okay.
And Fergus, what about? I know, no, this we should leave this for another day. About stories, how do you incorporate stories into your speech?
Yeah. Okay. That's the next time. Storytelling.
Yeah. Let's
Definitely.
let's leave that for next time. You've been here for over 2 hours now. It's really been long. I think it's time to um just round up. Yeah, okay. Sam says thank you, Fergus. Fergus, thank you so very much for your time for the lecture. I've been taking notes, like seriously taking notes here. I've got everything down. Thank you very much. Yes, hopefully we are gonna have you here. See, I've got the 9 squares. Can you see?
Good. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been taking notes because whenever you come, and the last thing you said today as well was very, very helpful. It's the first time I'm hearing it, and the Toms as well. You have your way of sharing knowledge that I really do admire. That is why I love it when you come here. I know we have not yet started with you. You're just touching. I know because I know you very well. I know what you're capable of doing, sharing, teaching. If you want a vocal coach, if you're looking for someone to help you with public speaking, I think you should get in touch with Fergus. He might be a bit expensive. I don't know. You have to get in touch with him. But Fergus is the man. He is the man. So please get in touch with Fergus on X, on Facebook, on Fergus. Are you on Instagram?
I am apparently. Yes,
Yeah, on
because my niece
Instagram.
is. Yeah.
So yes, so your Fergus McClelland everywhere, and on Google as well. You
Oh
are on
yeah.
Google, so
Yes. You Google
people
me and
find
you
you.
on the IMDb, the database for film. Yes, up the top. Yeah.
And Fergus, you're always on GB News as well.
Yes, I have been on GB News about 8 times,
Yeah,
and I
you're
used to
always
be
on.
on LBC. I used to be on LBC a lot on the Nick Ferrari show years ago. Oh goodness me, yes, that's a lot. Hmm.
Yes, so please get in touch with Fergus if you would like him to train you. He's a very good vocal coach. So do get in touch with Fergus for your training, professional training. You could get him in to train your managers. You could get him,
I,
yeah, to train, yeah, which is that is what he does. So he's the man for it. So thanks very much, Fergus. Thank you very much for your lectures today. We do appreciate you. We appreciate your time, and hopefully we are gonna have you sometime soon when you have time.
yeah,
Yes,
it's,
always a pleasure having you. Sam
it's
says,
always
have you
fun.
written books or public?
Have I
Have
written
you
books on
written
public
books on
speaking?
public speaking?
No, but look at this, everybody. Look. This is 15 pages on an outline of a series of professional speaking events I'm about to do. So quite busy.
Yes, Sam. I think you should get in touch with Fergus if you're a public speaker or you are thinking of going into public speaking. I think you should get in touch with Fergus. Google him and just Google him and you will find him. Get in
Yeah,
touch with Fergus. Trust me, you will not like to get Fergus to. I don't know. I don't know how I managed to get you here, but
it's
I know we
because
have
it's
not
you.
touched. We haven't. You have not started. Fergus is just
No,
playing with us. Like Sam, I'm very serious.
tiny,
He has not.
tiny, tiny, tiny bit of what's in my head
Yeah, he
about
hasn't taught
speaking.
us like anything yet. He's just going around. I know what I'm talking about. So it's always a pleasure having you here, Fergus. Thank you very much. Look forward
My pleasure.
to yes, look forward to talking to you later and having you on the show again. We cannot
Look,
wait.
here you are, here to
Fergus
tease
says
you.
I'm in the US. A book written by him will be helpful.
No.
Fergus, did you get that? A book written by you will be
Yes.
helpful.
Oh, I've actually done one, but it's a totally different topic. I've written it with a friend. It's called Success Undressed, and it's a training book to help people become more successful. I've actually written that one, yes, years ago.
Okay, so Fergus, that's a challenge for you. We want to read. You need to. You should have a book out on public speaking and all that. Because I would be the first person to buy it. I will be buying it ASAP. So this is a challenge for you from us. We need a public speaking book from you. So go
That's true,
ahead.
actually. I've written so many other stories for the Open University. I should do one on speaking. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
All right then,
Goodbye,
Fergus. Thank you
everybody.
very much. Thank you, and bye, Fergus.
See you all
See you
next
later.
time.
Thank you. Yeah. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Yeah. Bye, Fergus. Yeah. Okay. Fergus is wow. Thanks very much. Fergus is. Let's see. Okay. Hello, everyone. How are you today? I know I've been writing all through. How are you today? Hope you're all doing well. If today's your birthday, happy birthday. I know. Happy birthday to you. And struggles, call struggles to go by. I wish. Okay, so it's time for us to just bring today's session to a close. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for sharing this platform with us. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. Tomorrow we will be here. On Friday, we are going to be having Chile, and Chile is from Zambia. Yes, Chile is an he's a web designer, and he will be here with us to share with us a few things about designing your website, how to design your website, the type of website to design, how to take care of your website and everything website. So Chilisha will be here with us on Friday at 12:30. But I will be here tomorrow. Don't forget, we are here again tomorrow at 12:30 in the afternoon. So from 12:30 to 1:30. So I look forward to seeing you tomorrow again. Thank you very much for sharing your time with us today. How do you know Chile? Do you know him? Do you know Chile? He's gonna be here on Friday. Son of Soweto. What happened to you yesterday? 2 days ago, you were not here. Yesterday, you were not here, son of Soweto. What happened? We want to know. We want explanation for where you've been. We want to know where you've been. Yes. So, oh, you know him. Do you? Okay, let's talk about this tomorrow, son of Soweto. Please come. Tomorrow we are going to talk about something. Let's go back to something about the workplace, relationships. What should we talk about tomorrow? Let's leave it for tomorrow. Let it be a surprise for tomorrow. Cecilia, there's so many books by so many authors. He needs to write a book for a reference. Oh yes, he needs to. He needs to write a book for a reference. And hopefully he's gonna write one soon. But he's really good. He's really good. He hasn't taught us anything yet. Like he has not touched anything. He's just playing with us. He has not shared. He's just touching bits and bobs here and there. He hasn't. He's really good. Fergus can change you from this person to that person. Trust me, I was scared, petrified of going on stage. I couldn't, but I within some few, like, within 10 days of knowing Fergus, I mean, within 2 weeks, there were two of us, myself and another lady. Within 2 weeks, everything changed completely. Like, now I could go on stage, do comedy, I could walk on any stage. Now I know. Before, I just used to go walk on stage and just wander on stage from left to right. Now I can stand in the middle and just um things have gotten really better with Fergus. He does he's really good and very tactical and technical. He'll tell you, do this, do this, and he knows exactly what you need. He would listen to you. He would watch you on stage, and then he would tell you exactly what you need. So I don't practice the way I used to when I met Fergus, because we used to have like 1 hour call a week. You know, I sometimes I do, but I don't the way I used to. But he's really good. Trust me on this one. He is good. And very reliable as well. So, was Fergus South African? No, Fergus is from Scotland, Ireland. No, he's I. Fergus is, I think he's from Scotland. I'm not too sure. No, he's from Scotland. He's not South African. He's from Scotland, or he's from here. Yeah, he is from here. He's not from. Um. Okay then. All right then. Let's. Okay. Okay, Cecilia. He's very good, but without a book written, audience won't be convinced of his authority. Yeah, he has to do that. Yeah, he has to Kelvin. Hi, Kelvin. Okay, then see you tomorrow, please. I have to go. 2 days ago, when was it? On Friday, son of Soweto, you said we should come here and have a very long day. We were all here. Sharon was here, Sam was here. We waited for you all day. We were here till about, we even had another session in the evening because we thought you were going to come by. We waited for you all day and you did not come. Let's see you tomorrow, please, son of Soweto. See you tomorrow. Have a lovely day. Have a lovely day. Thank you very much for stopping by. Have a very lovely day. And please do remember, you are the most important person in your life. Take care of yourself. Stay true to yourself. Stay on your lane and keep on moving. Just keep on moving. Yes, I'm going to get a number. I'm going to get a phone number so we all connect. Yes, I'm going to do that. Let's say by the end of this week, early next week, I'm going to get a phone number so we can all connect on WhatsApp and we can decide on the next steps to take when it comes to you joining me, having Zoom calls. We can always have a Zoom call and you share your story and we bring it later and upload it on YouTube. Cecilia, I'm going to dye my hair gray color. Where's Sam? Please, all right then. Do dye your hair gray color. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Please come prepared. We've got plenty to talk about. All the best. Always have a fabulous afternoon, Sam. Is it morning? Or enjoy the rest of your day. Let's put it that way. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Thank you very much. All the best, and bye for now. Bye bye. Bye. See you tomorrow. Bye, guys. Bye.